Hi guys, in today's video we'll be looking at the DateTime object, which allows you to store a date, either past, present or future, and a time. We'll also be looking at some of the helper functions available to make your life easier when working with dates. So let's jump into Visual Studio and take a look. So let's fire up Visual Studio. We'll create a new project. It will be our favorite console app, .NET Framework, C#. We will call this one Dates and Times. We'll click Create. So we will set up some basic stuff in our program. So we will have a console.readline to stop our program from ending. And we will start declaring some dates. So the date object, or it's actually called DateTime, is an object that holds a day of the month, a year, an hour, a minute, a second, a millisecond. So you can be very precise with your dates and times in your programs. And actually working with them is quite easy. So we can declare them like this. We can say var now equals, and we can get the date and time for now very easily. We just say date time dot now. And that will give us the time on the computer right now. So obviously 8:14 on my computer. If I add a breakpoint in here and we press play, you'll see that now is 17th of the 5th, 2020, and it's 8:14 and 17 seconds. And actually, there's a little bit more detail in there. If we drill down, we can see like the number of ticks from the CPU. We can see, I'm sure there's like milliseconds in here somewhere, but essentially you've got all of this information. We know it even knows that it's a Sunday. It knows that it's the 138th day of the year. And so there's quite a lot of information in there. There is other ways that we can get dates though, and we can perform some operations on dates too. So we could actually look at creating a var called tomorrow, and we could say that one was equal to date time dot now, and then we can do dot add days, and that's a function that we run on the date time object. So we've got our date time and we've got add days, and we can pass in a number of days to add. Now tomorrow is essentially today plus 1. So we can add days. The add days function kind of works both ways as well. So we could also say var yesterday equals date time dot now dot add days, and we could add in -1 days, and that would get us yesterday. So let's just run our program and have a look at those. So we've got today, which is the 17th. We've got tomorrow, which is the 18th, and we've got yesterday, which is the 16th. And you'll notice that because I use .now, the times are all like roughly the same. 8:15, 8:15, 8:15. So what you might want to do is just get the beginning of a day, and there's a nice easy way to do that. So we could say var today at midnight equals, and we'll just do date time dot now, and then there is a property in there called date, and it just returns the now date, but it takes the time off and it puts it to midnight essentially. So we can complete that line, and we'll just have a look at that one with our breakpoint. So it says today at midnight is 17th of the 5th, 000000. So sometimes you might need the start of a day. Sometimes you might just need to know the exact time. So that's how you can do that. Other stuff we can do with dates is we can actually just create our own very specific date. So we could say var, I don't know, event date equals, and we could say new date time. Remember when we looked at instantiating objects, we can instantiate the date time like that as well, but it does need some parameters. So let's have a look. You see we've got 12 overloads here, so there's a lot of ways we can create a new date time. We can use ticks, which I won't go into now because that's a bit complex. We've got year, month, day, so you could just specify the calendar date and not worry about the time. And when you do that, it will just default to 000000 like we had above. You can specify the calendar date and the type of calendar to use. It's probably a bit outside the scope of this particular video, but that's something to look forward to later. This is the one that I think you might use probably about as often as just the calendar date one, and this is the year, the month, the day, the hour, the minute, the second. So you can pass in all of those, and that's a very specific date and time. And then you can also, there's a bunch of other ones. Date, time, kind is something we won't look at today. You can actually even go a step further and specify the millisecond if you needed to. There's a bunch of different overloads in there, but the main ones will be the year, the month, and the day of the month. And actually, I don't know why I'm putting a 0 in there. You don't need to do that. So that would be event date. And if we copy and paste that, we might actually want event date and time. And actually, the time of the event might be 11:45 and 18 seconds. If we go ahead and run that, you'll see that event date is just the date at 000000. But if I specify the time, then we get that once at 11:45 and 18 seconds. So that's kind of how you can get the current time, which is very common. You'll be doing that all the time. You'll be able to look at tomorrow, yesterday, today. You can get the date at midnight. You can just create your own date with your own month, year, and day, or you can be even more specific and specify a time. Final thing we'll look at is adding dates together. So, sorry, not adding dates together, but sort of getting the offset between 2 days. And this involves another type of object called the time span. So what we could say is var difference equals, and we'll say actually we want tomorrow, which we declared above, minus today. Actually, no, let's do tomorrow minus yesterday. And if we run that, you'll see difference is equal to 2 days. And if we drop down and have a look in there, we can see actually how many hours is that, how many total days was 2, how many milliseconds, how many minutes, how many seconds. So this object that we're looking at here, if I just stop the program and hover over that, you see it's a time span. And time span is just another type of object that can hold information about the difference between 2 particular date times. So date times and time spans are really important. You might actually, for an example, you might want to know how many hours it is until a specific event, and all you would do is you just minus the current time from the event time, and then that will get you the difference. Hi guys, well done for making it to the end of the video. Just a quick heads up that there is a link to the project files from today's session in the video description. If you have any questions about anything we've covered today, feel free to leave me a comment. And as always, I will see you in the next one.